Hello and welcome to Tell the Story podcast. I'm your host Ethan Turner and welcome to episode 2, where I'm going to be telling the story of my life, where it all started and why I want to make a podcast. So let's start right all the way back at the beginning. My life started way back in China. My parents are British and fell in love and then moved to China and had me and my brothers. Lived there for the first 9 years of my life. Went to school and learned the culture and just tried to really fit in. I don't remember much, but boy, I remember the food. Absolutely amazing. I'm going to go back as soon as possible just for those dumplings. Oh, so good. Those noodles as well. Miss them so much. I grew up there in a neighborhood filled with friends that were there for very much the same reasons as my parents. We all went to the same school, XIA, and I have a lot of friends that are still my very good friends from there that are now all over the world and maybe we will have on this podcast. At that school, I really learned the rules of life, really, trying to understand what's right and wrong and just getting used to interacting with people and finding out who I am. And I wasn't there forever. When I was about 9 years old, my family made the decision to move to Thailand. So after packing up our bags and getting everything ready, we traveled all the way over there. We traveled to a new country, a lot warmer and pretty amazing. Lived in a fairly nice house, loved the temperature and the weather, absolutely amazing. And yet again, the food, absolutely amazing. Thai curry there's nothing like it. Went to school there again, made a lot of great friends and got used to the community. A lot of friends from China moved over to Thailand with us actually, and we all lived in the same neighborhood again. A couple of friends still left in China, moved all around the world just like I did. And after about 3 to 4 years of going to school and getting used to everything, another drastic change occurred. After finally fitting in and getting used to everything and getting settled, we moved again. This time to the other side of the world, a completely new continent. England is where my parents are from and where my family has been, so we've traveled over there for Christmas and other holidays. But it didn't feel quite right living here. Moving here for the first time was interesting. The weather was drastic, very cold, not used to it at all. China in the winter it did get cold, but I don't know, I just never really remembered it that much. Moving here wasn't that easy for me. Getting into a house, very different, a lot smaller than it was in Thailand. Trying to get used to all the living and the way people act, very different. And then finally actually getting excited to get into school, because that's where in the past I've made all my friends and had lots of fun. This time it wasn't the same at all, really. I quickly ended up being the American kid who's great at basketball and can solve the Rubik's Cube. I didn't really fit in that much and didn't really make true friends. I want this to be less of a talking point, which is kind of what I'm making it, and more of a conversational thing. So I feel like I've been stating a lot right now, but I kind of just want to talk what's on my mind. So after getting into school and being there for about 3 years, nothing really changed. Kind of was still the same thing, just trying to get work done and then leave the school and get home. I grew up in a Christian household, so all my friends in China and Thailand were Christians, and it's what I was used to, whereas in England it was very, very different. A lot of people just acted just not what I was used to. So it was hard to really have people who had the same values and interests. So it was difficult. But the main reason that we moved to Birmingham was for the church that is located here. Friends of friends knew the pastor of this church, so we moved in and tried to get to know people, tried to fit in, and it actually worked out really well. First couple of months were hard because I stopped being great at connecting with new people. That kind of went in a slump. But at this church, it quickly caught up, and I quickly started to become myself, which I didn't have at school, and I couldn't find it. My church became a place where I created friend groups and really connected with people and had people to talk to about everything that's going on. People I could relate with, and made friends that also traveled all around the world, which was pretty amazing having connected so quickly. After finishing at that school and finishing my exams and leaving the school, I had the long process of applying to a new school, a college, and that process was very stressful because we found an amazing school that I was so excited to get to. What literally were doing what I love to do, to make films and tell stories, which is what I'm doing with this podcast, telling stories that I really want to tell. But it's not easy. You have to fill out a lot of forms and apply and do what's called an aptitude test, where this school is very creative. They don't base you on your writing skills. They base you on the skills that you have to do the work there. It's very practical, which is what I love so much about it. After having trouble connecting and making friends at this school in England, it was hard for me to put myself out there during the aptitude tests and actually talk to people. It's difficult, but I kind of got through it. First time, went to the aptitude test and did pretty well. I was very happy with how it turned out. And then after a couple weeks of waiting, got a letter and did not get a place. And that was kind of crushing because my brother applied to the same school for a couple of years below, and got a place. So he got in and I didn't. It was pretty hard to deal with. But having the option of applying again was a definite... Well, let me rephrase that. I definitely wanted to apply again. So went through the appeal process and pretty much did the exact same thing the second time during the aptitude test, the same tasks, and did really well. I think better the second time. And then again, after a couple weeks of waiting, did not get a place. Whew, this was hard. This is very hard for me to go through, knowing that this is pretty much the best school for me and getting denied a place twice. Very hard. But then the school offered to see if I would like to apply for a new school that opened, doing the same program, the same broadcast course. And so I thought, why not go for it? I had a couple backup schools, but I really didn't enjoy them as much as I did this one. So going through the whole process again, a couple weeks later, this letter was a lot more thick and had high hopes. And was honestly one of the most exciting moments in this country that I've had, of getting that approval letter that I got a place at the school. And this was a very long journey to get to a place where I'm at now and having the best time of my life, doing what I love for school, and it doesn't really feel like school. It's really amazing. But that story is something that I've wanted to tell, and I haven't really had a place to tell it much, but I'm happy I can do it here. But yeah, that's kind of my story. I've lived all over the place my entire life. Never really stayed in one place for over 10 years. But I don't remember much of China, so we're not counting all of that. So that's pretty much my story. It's kind of been all over the place my entire life, and I'm happy that I now have a place to share it, and I hope that you guys really enjoyed. And so I have a lot of stories to come, so if you'd hit the follow button, that would be absolutely amazing for me. I'm happy that you get to come along with me on my journey as I tell more stories. Have a great rest of your day and see you next time. Bye.